Hello everyone, my name is D.bé Jayri, and welcome to the 7th episode of Black World History. Today we will be focusing on Queen Nanny of the Maroons, one of the national heroes of Jamaica that was presented in the last episode. On celebrating Women's History Month, there's no better way of expressing such appreciation than highlighting the brilliance, leadership, and achievements of black women in history, such as Queen Nanny of the Maroons. The Right Excellent Nanny of the Maroons, Queen Nanny, was born in 1686 and died in 1733. Nanny was born in Ghana, West Africa, into the Ashanti tribe, and then was brought to Jamaica under enslavement. It is believed that some of her family members were involved in intertribal conflict and her village was captured. Nanny and several relatives were sold as enslaved Africans and sent to Jamaica. Upon arrival, Nanny was likely sold to a plantation in the St. Thomas parish. The plantations that she was enslaved on grew sugar cane as the main crop, and the enslaved worked under extremely harsh conditions day by day. When Nanny was a child, she became influenced by other enslaved leaders and Maroons. She and her brothers, Akampong, Kujo, Johnny, and Ko, ran away from their plantation and hid in the Blue Mountains area north of the parish. While in hiding, they split up to organize more Maroon communities across Jamaica. Kujo went to St. James Parish and organized a village, which later was named Kujo Town. Akampong settled in St. Elizabeth in a community now known as Akampong Town. Nanny and Ko founded communities in Portland. She was married to a Maroon named Ado but had no children. Nanny and her brothers became folk heroes. Her most famous brother, Kujo, went on to lead several slave rebellions in Jamaica with the aid of her other brothers. By 1720, Nanny and Ko had settled and controlled an area in the Blue Mountains. It was given the name Nanny Town and consisted of the 500 acres of land granted to the runaway slaves. Nanny Town had a strategic location as it overlooked Stony River through a 900-foot ridge, which prevented the British from making surprise attacks on the settlement. The Maroons in the town also organized lookouts for such an attack, as well as designated warriors who could be summoned by the sound of a horn called an abeng. The Maroons of Nanny Town and similar communities survived by sending traders to the nearby market towns to exchange food for weapons and cloth. The community raised animals, hunted, and grew crops, and was organized very much like a typical Ashanti tribe in Africa. They were also known for raiding plantations for weapons and food, burning the plantations, and leading slaves back to their communities. Nanny was very proficient at organizing plans to free enslaved peoples. For over 30 years, Nanny freed more than 800 slaves and helped them to resettle in the Maroon community. Nanny was a leader of the Maroons at the beginning of the 18th century. She was known by both the Maroons and the British settlers as an outstanding military leader who became, in her lifetime and after, a symbol of unity and strength for her people during times of crisis. She was particularly important to them in the fierce fight with the British during the First Maroon War from 1720 to 1739. Both legends and documents refer to her as having exceptional leadership qualities. She was a small woman with piercing eyes. Her influence over the Maroons was so strong that it seemed to be supernatural and was said to be connected to her powers of Obeah. She was particularly skilled in organizing the guerrilla warfare carried out by the Eastern Maroons to keep away the British troops who attempted to penetrate the mountains to overpower them. Besides inspiring her people to ward off the troops, Nanny was also a type of chieftainess or wise woman of the village who passed down legends and encouraged the continuation of customs, music, and songs that had come with people from Africa and which instilled in them confidence and pride. Her spirit of freedom was so great that in 1739, when Quo signed the second treaty with the British, it was reported that Nanny was very angry and in disagreement with the principle of peace with the British, which she knew meant another form of subjugation. There were many legends about Nanny among the Maroons. Some even claim that there were several women who were leaders of the Maroons during this period of history, but all the legends and documents refer to Nanny of the First Maroon War as the most outstanding of them all, leading her people with courage and inspiring them to struggle to maintain that spirit of freedom and life of independence which was their rightful inheritance. The British offered an award to loyal slaves for Nanny's defeat, and under the command of Captain Sambo, namely William Coffey, a black man, was rewarded for having fought the Maroons in the First Maroon War, and who is called a very good party Negro, having killed Nanny. These hired soldiers were known as black shots, and they were former members of the Maroon settlements. This reward would also give some of these slaves the promise of freedom. It is likely that Coffee was motivated by the reward, a common practice by plantations to discourage slaves escaping. Nanny remains are buried at Bumgrave in Moortown, one of the communities established by the Windward Maroons in the Portland Parish. Black women have been some of the biggest inspirations and role models in my life. Personally, growing up with black women who displayed a life of courage, a life of brilliance, a life of strength, have given me better understanding of their joys, their pain, their sufferings, and their victories. And in my life, I've come to learn that black women are the best teachers of African black cultures, black history, and black way of life. And that's it for today. Until next time, remember this: with wisdom and knowledge of self, you hold the world in your hands. Take care, my people.